Hello everyone and welcome to the Music Show. I'm Ray Braselton, your host.
And I'm Nick Rita, co-host.
Today we have for you the DixieKats. And this is a Dixieland group, and they're from the Ithaca area and Romulus area.
One guy's from Romulus, right.
And they
That's
play...
New York.
That's New York, I gotta say that. But they play all over the area. They play, actually they even are doing the State Fair. And they have done it several times.
Mm-hmm.
And they play a lot of festivals. They're a very, very organized professional group, I would say.
Septet.
And they're septet.
Seven pieces.
There's some pieces like
variety of instruments.
Yeah,
a ton of them.
Alto sax, baritone sax.
I forget half of them.
Clarinet.
Upright bass.
Upright
guy
bass.
Plays electric.
The
banjitar.
That's interesting.
And is there a trumpet? Was there too?
There's a trumpet.
Couple trumpets,
yeah. And then also there's a drum set.
Don't say too much about the drum set.
Interesting. We have a showcase on. You got to see this.
You're gonna give it up.
So keep in mind this is coming up. But nevertheless, this group, Dixieland, as you know or may not know, is quite an interesting type of style of music, and it does involve a combination of different nationalities.
These guys, actually, a lot of them are from a lot of different backgrounds. They all have a lot of experience playing in different bands here and there.
Right.
And they bring all that into Dixieland, and that style they call gumbo, that's exactly what it is. It takes a little of this, a little of that, a little of this, and puts it all together. And
some of the influences, though, are like Creole, Africana, and Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
So, you're going to enjoy the show. Don't forget, we also have our regular show.
The regular stuff, the round table at the end.
We, of course,
Stay
have our...
tuned for that.
And then a showcase that you won't let me
really
talk
good.
about, that they need to... And then we have our Uncle Nick's Corner and our interview. You want to see that? And, so everybody, stay tuned for this show. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's going to be a little bit more educational than a lot.
So what's their first tune, right?
First tune is Runnin Wild. It's an anonymous piece from Dixie lore, and featuring both solos and traditional Dixieland weaves. So please welcome the DixieKats.
Lost control, running wild, mighty bold, feeling gay, reckless too, carefree mind all the time, never blue, always going, don't know where, always showing, I don't care, don't love nobody, ain't worthwhile, look at me, I'm running wild. On the clarinet. Peter, we call him Sweet Pea Furlano. And on the trumpet, Spanky Fisher. On the bass, Dana Paul. Band guitar, Ravon Richmond. Together they make up our rhythm section. Let's go, everyone. Lost control, running wild, mighty bold, feeling gay, reckless too, carefree mind all the time, never blue, always going, don't know where, always showing, I don't care, don't love nobody, anyone want, look at me, I'm running wild.
Welcome everybody again to the music show, and we are at our interview segment of the show, and we have with us today the DixieKats from the Ithaca area, and of course we have one of our members here that's from Romulus, and we're going to start out with you, Dave. Dave Plain, I believe it is.
That's right, Dave Big Dog Plain.
Okay, and you kind of are the leader or the person who formed the group.
That's true. We started in 1995, and this is the latest incarnation of the Cats. These guys are all really seasoned musicians, and it's a pleasure to work with them.
Now you play bari sax and alto sax?
Baritone, saxophone, alto, and in this band. Yes.
Right, and I know a lot of you had some instruction more than just playing out. You actually went to Berkeley College, and I think you transferred to Illinois. And
that's true, and then I transferred again, and then I transferred again.
Well, now you're with DixieKats.
Well, by the time I'm done, I got a little something in there.
Okay, and then I imagine we might go to you, Mark.
Yeah.
Should we try you? We'll get back to you. Mark, again, from the Ithaca area.
I am.
And you play interesting set drums.
Yeah.
By the way, we're going to have a great showcase on this, so you guys stay tuned for it.
Just a few minutes.
Yeah, and well, I just wanted to know more about you and you know, your history.
I've been playing music since I've been about 7 years old. So I've got a total of about 50 years on this instrument, maybe a little bit more. 50 years on drums. I've got a whole assortment of hand percussion at home. One of the wonderful things about this, we'll learn later, is that I can do a lot of the stuff I can do with a whole room full of drums.
Oh, that's very true. I was very interested when I saw you guys performing out. We were the first person I came to, I think, and I wanted to see how that worked. And
I remember that.
well, there's a lot of people that you've worked with, and I know that you've had some interesting bands that you've backed up and worked with. Could you give us just
oh, goodness. I've worked with many, many different kinds of bands. I used to play in a band that opened up for acts like the Young Rascals and Love and Spoonful and the Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but I came to Ithaca with a band called the Peabody Band, and
right.
we played together for about 11 years, and I've been playing all over the place, playing lots of different kind of music.
Right. And I'm wondering, we should go to our right. I feel like getting to Bob here. Bob, you want to introduce yourself? And
hi, my name is Bob Fisher. I'm the trumpeter. Had a good fortune to play with Dave and these players for quite a few years.
you came from Long Island area, was it?
I'm actually from Ithaca. I went to high school there, and that's where I learned how to play the trumpet, and had laid the horn down for a number of years after that. And so I'm comeback player, but I've been working on it now for, I'd say, almost 20 years.
Great. Welcome to the group. And we got you, Peter. What's your last name?
My name is Pete Forlano. I play clarinet and tenor in this band. I've been playing, well, I started on clarinet when I was probably 10 years old or so, and been playing ever since in all sorts of small groups and big bands, and it's been a great experience.
Great. Yeah. Okay. And then, of course, we have it's Dale, right?
Dana.
Dana. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
Dana Paul.
Sorry, Dana.
I live in Ithaca right now, but I come from Charlottesville, Virginia.
The truth comes out.
For many years in Ithaca, I played in a band called Cornerstone, which was primarily a bluegrass and Americana acoustic music sort of band, and that band was a lot of fun. And I play the bass because it is the instrument of love.
And what a lovely thing to say. And you fit very well. I mean, they're lucky to have you, I'll tell you. Even if you aren't really from Berkeley, California. Okay. And then, of course, you want to introduce yourself there?
I'm Dave. Dave. They call me Ravon.
Uh-huh. And Dave, you play guitar.
I play guitar, you know, and of course I played the banjo for most of this.
Right. But you also, in college, took classical guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Well, you know, like a lot of guitar players, we start playing folk music and fiddle tunes and you know, rock and roll and.
Yeah, you got.
But in college, I got
good.
kind of interested in classical guitar, and it kind of took me over for many years. And
that's good. And you still play a little bit, don't you?
I absolutely do. Yes.
Yeah, in fact, you belong to a society.
Yeah, that's right.
Upstate classical. Can you give me the name of this?
No, it's a really nice society, actually. The Classical Guitar Society of Upstate New York. Right. We hold an annual convention the first weekend in October every year. We get really fine players, and a lot of the members do play a nice set, and it's a great thing to keep doing. That's the thing about guitar, you know, you can do so many different kinds of music with it. It just, you know.
That's great.
It don't end.
You still pick me up okay on the mic? Okay, I just wanted to switch mics here real briefly. We wanted to also let you know Casey is in the group. He's kind of our vocalist, but you do play another instrument. You play trumpet.
Play the trumpet.
Well, actually, you're doing some on the show, so
yeah. My main instrument's the audience, of course.
Right, I heard of that. Yeah, and you working pretty good too.
Yeah, John over here, the sound man, he's been cracking up the whole night.
I know.
We've been having a great time.
He's been your audience. I know. Did we cover everybody? Yeah, we got everybody.
You got it all.
I know that your brother, of course, Peter, and I got it right, has been on the show with his children before. That's Rebecca and the Chore Lads. And,
right, with bluegrass music.
Right, and then of course you've got a Sisters in Opera. You got another brother that did theater and won a great Emmy or something for theater.
Tony nomination. Yeah.
Tony. Okay, and then of course Christopher McDowell, who's I've seen in many movies on TV. And
right, Shooter McGavin.
Yeah, he was Shooter McGavin. Yeah, and so we got one great. Real quickly, give us a number that they can get a hold of you. Do you want to come up and do that? We need to have a number like. The contact number or email or something.
And show them the CD.
Which well, sure. This is the CD too.
We have a CD called An American Tradition, and it's both traditional and gumbo styles. You can reach us at our website www.DixieKats DixieKats.com, and of course you can email us at any of the emails that are there on the site or phone call, cell 814-525-9582. That's DixieKats.com.
Well, thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Ray.
Let's go on with the show. Having a lot of fun so far. Let's see what more you have to offer.
Thanks, Ray.
Stay tuned, everybody. We're going on. And now, the DixieKats perform for you at the traditional St. James Infirmary. This is a funeral dirge. This heritage piece is spiced up with some grit and some Middle Eastern modalities. And here they are.
Richmond. I went down to the St. James Infirmary. Saw my lady there. She was lying on a cloth-draped table, her body cold and bare. I said, Doctor, doctor, how is she? I answered, good Dr. Sparks. He said, if I were you, I'd light her a candle, 'cause she'll be dancing with the angels for dawn. Let her go, God bless her, wherever she may be, 'cause you can search the whole world over, never find another man like me. Spanky Fisher, come on, Spanky. Now there were 6 coal-black horses pulling a funeral hack, taking 7 low-down ladies to the hill. Only 6 coming back. And a horse sang the eulogy. Glad she was there.
Hello and welcome to Uncle Nick's Corner again. I'm Nick Rita, your co-host of the music show and perpetrator of Uncle Nick's Corner. Today I'm going, you see I don't have my guitar in my hand. I feel kind of yucky without it. But at any rate, you know then another lecture is coming. Not so much a lecture, but just some friendly advice. I've been teaching now for probably 40 years or so. I started when I was just a youngster teaching in a little town in Pennsylvania and gained a lot of knowledge on the fly. I never really had a whole lot of technical or official knowledge, so to speak. I took a few classes here and there, but never really worked for a degree. So what I gained a lot was just by observation and seeing how things work and just taking them apart and putting them back together. Many times, you know, I've dealt with many students, and a lot of times you have a young kid coming in, and what he wants to really do is play rock guitar. And sometimes they're very adept at it. They can reach the chords, they understand power chords, they understand going up and down the fingerboard, and a lot of times the first thing they want to do is mimic one of their heroes, like well, what's the one song? Ba bum 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 bum, Smoke on the Water, or whatever they want to play, and that's their goal at first. But what I find that on some of them that are really have a promise, the best thing for them, actually anyone, the best thing for them to start at is a single note reading and get into a method book and learn one by one. What you're doing there is you're making yourself more adept, more what you're doing actually is working that vehicle between something of sight, which is the written page, through your mind and interpreting it and putting it on the fingerboard. And the more you do that, the better off you are. So when you're learning, though, it's like working on multi-levels, because you have the intellect working to try to assimilate and find out what are these notes I have to play, where do I have to go on the fingerboard, and then once you have an idea of where you need to go on the fingerboard, then you have the physical thing of actually getting to where you have to go. And they're actually two different things. I like to use the analogy of math. Sometimes kids come in and they think a half an hour lesson a week or 45-minute hour lesson a week is enough to learn. And then I ask them how much time they spend on math in school. And in general, they'll spend almost an hour a day in school and then maybe another couple hours a week doing homework. And so we say, okay, that's 7 hours a week that you spend learning math. And then I hit them with something that they never really thought. Actually, guitar playing is a little bit more difficult than math. In math, you have the mental aptitude that you have to culture. But when you're playing guitar, you have that mental attitude where you have to process information, and then you have to do a physical thing and put it onto the fingerboard. So it actually, if you analyze it, it is more difficult than math, but not insurmountable. And I like to also tell them that, you know, what you really need to focus on is where you are right now, and try to enjoy where you are right now. Certainly one of the things they want to say, just like we did in high school, why do we have to learn this junk? Why do I have to learn to read music? But when somebody comes with the attitude of, you know, I need to learn this and get better at this, make each step up, up, up. Before I said not being afraid to fail, but then on the other hand, not trying to push yourself too far ahead because it'll cause frustration. One of the things that I give my students, just so it divorces them from one part of the process, is the pentatonic scale. And we look at that as 1-4, 1-3, 1-3, 1-3, 1-4, 1. And that gets them to play with the right into the four-finger position that they should be nurturing. But I think it's really important to just stay at the level you are, reaching forward and enjoying where you are. I think so many times in life in general, we're always thinking of where we need to be, where we want to get. We have goals. We become very goal-oriented. I know one time I was talking to a pastor about things going on in my life, and he says, you know, take comfort in the fact that God's working you to a point. I walked away very confused, because I think it's better to enjoy where you are today with the goal in mind, but not stumbling over the things that you're doing today. You know, take advantage of the time that you have, and practice the things that you're working on, the things that are going to get you better, step by step by step, little by little by little. A friend of mine once, we were talking about studying a very complicated part of theology, and we thought, the best way to do this is the same way you would eat an elephant. And say, well, why would anybody want to eat an elephant? Well, I tell you what, elephants are very tasty. I've never tasted one, but I would just assume they are. But how could you eat a whole elephant? You start out with the first bite, you chew it up, swallow it, digest it. Start out with another bite, and you take a bite by bite by bite by bite. Sooner or later, you're looking at an elephant carcass instead of the big elephant in front of you, and you've gained a lot by doing it. So until next time, this is Nick, Uncle Nick, just saying keep trying, keep working at it, and it'll come. Bye-bye.
Welcome everybody to the music show, and this is the showcase segment of our show, and today we have somebody and something very interesting for you. We have Mark Sammo, right?
Right.
Mark,
right.
You've got, this is your instrument, and Mark just has been playing for us on the show with the DixieKats, and he's got something that I think is unique as far as the way it looks and the fact that you can sound so much like a drum. Is this called a drum, or what's it called, Mark?
It's an electronic percussion instrument, electronic percussion controller, and electronic percussion brain. So this is the controlling aspect, including the two foot pedals I have that are down there. So this is a foot pedal over here, and it operates a hi-hat.
Now, can you program each one of these segments?
I can. Each one of these things is individually assignable. This is a MIDI instrument. MIDI is a musical instrument digital interface, and there's a MIDI cord that comes out of the back of this controller, and it goes over here into this brain. So every one of these 24 pads can be assigned a different sound, and I can go into the brain and assign it a particular drum sound, anything I want. That's already, it's included in here. I have two of these things, modules linked together, because even with this, which is the top of the line Roland product, it's TD20, it's an amazing instrument, and this is a Roland snare. Roland has set up their drums to be all looking like this particular snare drum, which I'm not sure you can really see, but it kind of looks like a snare drum. It's got a mesh head. And Roland's instruments, instead of having this kind of control surface, has these heads and little tiny plastic kind of cymbals that you play. My cymbals are spread around.
And what's the name of this unit?
This is a Trap Cat. This is made by a company out of Massachusetts. I believe that's where they're coming from. And it's got a little pressure-sensitive, piezo, pressure-sensitive triggers, contact mics underneath it, and
the harder you hit it, the
how hard you hit it,
yeah.
the sound can change, and it's actually programmed. The better modules can program those kinds of sounds to be changed. The history of an electronic drum set started back in the, I think it was in the late 70s, and it really populated through the 80s. With the Simmons kind of electronic drums, and they're still around. They had a typical kind of sound, and it sounded something like this. And you probably recognize that.
Now, you don't see a lot of these around, do you?
No,
because
you don't.
They're probably a little bit on the expensive side. I don't know.
They are very expensive. I think I probably got about $4,000 in this setup. So, and there are less sophisticated setups, and there are more sophisticated
Where would you put this one? In the medium
I'd say it's on the high end.
On the high end.
On the high end.
Okay.
High end.
And do you find that this has got to be very, very convenient for you for jobs, I would assume?
It is very convenient because, you know, playing with the Dixieland band, I typically use 3 or 4 kits. This is one kit. And I also use this kit, which sounds a little bit different, and I use this kit. I don't know if you can hear the subtlety between this and this.
Oh, yeah.
But that's a deeper kind of sound that goes on. And also for our showcase for me and my instrument, we do Caravan, and I've got this set up to sound African drums. So when I started off in Caravan, I'm so, and the programming of these things are kind of interesting because if I just hit it lightly, I get one sound. If I hit it a little harder, 3 sounds out of this one pad.
How much, this seems like, because of the brain here, it has all kinds of options, I guess, on it. You can program in.
All kinds of options.
And is it hard to program, or is there like once you program it, you can just hit one switch and it switches it to?
That's right.
And that's right there on the floor.
I have a foot switch on the floor where I can select by hitting one of these pads while this foot switch is depressed. I can change the whole entire layout in a flash.
You also have a drum pedal sound, and where's that coming from? And I don't know if they saw that. They could see that or not.
This is on the right foot. Typically, there's a bass drum for right-handed drummers on the right, and so that's a bass drum sound.
Yeah, but that's electronic.
It is, but
Okay.
it's coming
all
out of here and going over into here, and
this unit here is what's it called? A V?
Well, this is a Roland snare drum, and it's very sensitive, very, very sensitive. It has a remarkable playing characteristics, and in a brush kit where so it has a lot more response than this one does. But this one is amazing because it's trapezoidal shape. It's got 24 pads on it, and I can play 24 sounds. And this guy over here has its own sound, and this has 2 sounds. This and
now,
the rim.
If you play, some people have a hard time dealing with these kind of electronic drums, but I have never seen one that plays so much so well and sounds so authentic. Would you say that you are as happy with something like this as a real set drum, or do you still feel that the real set drum trap sets are? What's the advantages and disadvantages of the two?
The advantage of this particular setup is that if I'm playing a song in a band that requires something like a Led Zeppelin thing, I can get that in a flick. And people that are really inventive with these things, and with trap cats in particular, if you just Google trap cat, or not Google it, but go to YouTube and put in trap cat, T-R-A-P-K-A-T, like DixieKat, K-A-T, trap cat, all one word, you'll see some amazing people playing on instruments very similar to this that do things like this.
Regular trap set. You're not going to do that on a regular set.
No,
that is fascinating.
And you can trigger all kinds of rhythms that you may have programmed into certain devices. I recommend it for somebody who's kind of interested in this. Trap cat. Go to YouTube, and you'll see some amazing drummers doing some really amazing things.
Wow. I want to thank you so much
You're welcome,
for joining us.
Ray.
It was really great. I learned a lot. I probably could ask more, but we're about out of time. So, but thank you for being with us with the DixieKats, and thanks for showing us, doing the showcase for us today, okay?
You're welcome.
And we will see you soon. Stay tuned now. We got some more for you. Now, this next piece comes from a more current pop culture book in the New Orleans Dixie music tradition. Words and music by Huey Smith and Izzy Cougarden. Blow, wind, blow, blow my troubles away.
Blow, wind, blow, all my troubles away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Blow, wind, blow, until the judgment
Day, you got my ring, everything. Make my poor heart young. Where can I go? Where can I turn? I'm walking in the rain.
blow, wind, blow, all my troubles away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Blow, wind, blow, until the judgment
Day, my head is hung way down low. You make my poor heart burn. I feel so bad, I feel so sad, the way that this all turned.
blow, wind, blow, all my troubles away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Blow, wind, blow, until the judgment
Day.
blow, wind, blow, all my troubles away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Blow, wind, blow, until the judgment day. Blow, wind, blow, all my troubles away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Blow, wind, blow, until the judgment day.
Oh yeah, blow and blow.
Welcome everybody to the music show. We're so glad to have you back with us. And my name's Ray Braselton, your host.
And I'm Nick Rita, co-host.
And today we have for you the DixieKats, again from the Ithaca area, and also Romulus for Casey. And I think maybe we should introduce them first, and then we'll
Good
go
idea.
to the other things. Yeah, you want to start with you, Mark? Your name and what instrument you play?
Yep, I'm Mark Sammo, and I'm the drummer, and I also sing a few songs.
I'm Dave Plain. I lead this bunch of mystical ruffians, and I play alto and baritone saxophone.
And my name is Casey Max. Born Casey McDonald, but ever since then it's been changing. You know, I was ignored as a child, and I'm making up for it now by playing with these great Dixieland musicians.
That's good.
My main instrument is vocally. You know, I sing and play the trumpet, but I also play the audience.
Yes.
The audience is
definitely
is the main instrument.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk more about you and your audience, and how when I came to review your band to see you guys play out, that was a very striking thing with the way he worked the audience. But
he's very good at it.
Yeah. We have a regular question for today, like we have most every week. And Nick, why don't you, since you articulate so well.
Articulation. We need to look that up later on. I'm not sure what that really means. But what what we wanted to say to get the ball rolling was to try to define this Dixieland and what it is. A lot of people, I don't think, have heard it like they have tonight. So if you know, you can give us some insight into where it came from, what it is. Obviously, it's a part of the jazz spectrum, right? But that jazz spectrum is very wide. So if you can narrow it a little bit for us.
Yeah.
Let's defer to David, because he's like our residential
He's the walking encyclopedia
and student of music.
Okay, thank you. Dixieland music is both the happiest, in my mind, and the saddest music on the planet. It runs the gamut of emotions, and as a form of jazz, it separates itself by having 3, 4, sometimes maybe more instruments playing, soloing at the same time, and in the process of doing so, having an articulated message that comes across, a story that is told that meshes with the vocals, and at the same time drives home the feeling that this piece of music is trying to grab across.
Now, in that, it's called a weave.
It is called a weave. And Mark, why don't you talk about its heritage?
Yeah, well, Dixieland music, of course, comes from Dixie, down south, and it's a kind of grew out of all the people that lived there, which included the Cajuns and French, people that migrated there, Africans, Cubans. So it's a mixture of different kinds of ethnic folk music and rich Indian history as well, from the Native American Indians that lived in the Louisiana Bayou area. So it's kind of a gumbo. A gumbo is just a mixture, a pot of all kinds of different wonderful things that are there. And of course, as you get a music that's happening in the streets or in the clubs or in the honky-tonks, and in the case of in Louisiana, in New Orleans, a lot of the music comes out of the houses of ill repute, you know, that were legal and very for a long time they were very legal, and there was drinking and a lot of carousing going around and piano playing and other musicians, and then of course there were after parties kind of things, and also the parades. Now, part of the sad part, the heartfelt part of Dixieland music is often that in a parade, to honor a person's death, the people would march playing a dirge, a funeral procession to the gravesite. They'd have the service, and then on the way back they'd burst into just celebration, and the music would pick up and be joyous, and you'd have a parade permit for the main body of the parade, and then you'd have also what's called a second line, which is just everybody coming out and just marching around and playing drums and instruments and having a great time. And of course, you have the Mardi Gras tradition in the Louisiana and New Orleans. So this is something that also spotlights and highlights the music, which ranges from the jazz we were talking about to just kind of a gumbo, street beat, almost Africana kind of thing when the chiefs get out in all their big old feathers and they dance around and twirl around. And
well, this is very interesting because in your music today, I think I heard all of that. And it is interesting to me because I've never been into Dixieland other than once in a while on TV I see it or something like that. So your group, to me, is a lot different than anything we've ever had really on the show before. We've had jazz and blues and everything, but your group really does change things for us here, and we, I think, learned a lot from it.
Now, as far as tradition is concerned, do you try to stay to tradition, or do you each bring something to the table of your own and kind of make it maybe a little bit different, but not too far from the tradition?
You know, you have Louis Armstrong, right, who had just a fantastic, recognizable, instantly marketable voice. And he kind of epitomized Dixieland. And me, when I sing, you know, I'm not really that familiar with Dixieland per se. The more I study it, the more I appreciate it. And I take a lot of vocal styles from Louis Armstrong, Al Jolson, some vaudeville, some Jimmy Durante, and try to add some of my own color to it. At the same time, get into the history. A song we did today, St. James Infirmary. What a beautiful song, but a song that has a history that goes back to the mid-1500s. A song that originated in England, where the St. James Infirmary originally was, and then was imported into the Dixieland genre. And of course, we put our own spin on it, and a lot of different lyrics have been part of that. So when you talk about something traditional, we have traditional elements, but we also, it is organic as well. So we're able to bring our own voicings to it in a way, you know, traditionally you'd think, okay, Dixieland, trombone. We don't have a trombone, you know? So what we're doing is we're bringing our unique combination of voicings and applying it in the spirit of these tunes and coming up with something that we have a connection to. So it becomes very passionate. For us, I mean, we're very, we bring that element into it, but then we're also trying to explore the edge of it.
That's kind of representative on our current CD, which is DixieKats, An American Tradition. The next CD that we have in the works is going to be focusing more on a traditional Dixieland music. So we're actually looking to create a very traditional Dixieland music in our own interpretation in our next CD.
Well, I want you to give us your website so that people want to get a hold of this CD that you have out now. Is this your newest one?
Yeah.
Yes. What's the name of it again?
DixieKats, An American Tradition.
Okay, and what's your email? Or
DixieKats.com with a K, D-I-X-I-E, Cats, K-A-T-S.com.
Very good. Well, you know, I wish we had more time to go over more history with you. Maybe we'll be able to have you on the show again some other time and spend more time on that. But I do know that all of you have got some real good, interesting backgrounds. I know you've played, you've studied at, I believe, the college. It was the Berkeley College in Massachusetts, and I know that that you have had some real famous names that you worked with. I think we covered a little bit of that on the interview.
If I could, Ray, I'd like to I'd like to tell you that we've had some strong opportunity in the last year or so. We've played for the Centennial for Hershey in the Hershey Sports Arena. We're going to be at the New York State Fair, Lilac Festival. We've been invited to the Medellin Flower Festival in Medellin, Colombia, and so we've had some good success along the way. But we're really interested in broadening our horizons and playing for some wonderful opportunities here in this marketplace. And we'd love dearly to do a European tour.
Oh, I bet. Oh, you.
And anyone who's interested in helping us or looking forward to being part of something, we're there.
Well, I hope that we have been able to bring you out to the public, and that you know, everybody will have a chance to be able to hear you at these different events. And just again, look for them and at their website that they just give you. You want to give it one more time, your website?
www.DixieKats, DixieKats.com.
I didn't quite hear that. What was it? DixieKats.com. In fact, through the magic of television, most likely it's appearing right
you
here.
Got it. You're right.
I love it.
It's there. You can't miss it.
We also have a complete calendar on the website that will give you our next engagements throughout the year, and we try also to have a little printed out version of that so you can have it and post it on your refrigerator or wherever it is.
Most people do, by the way.
Okay. Yep.
Right there in the fridge.
Well, thank you guys very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And
thanks,
you know,
thanks for the music show.
We
It's a
enjoyed
pleasure.
having you. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you.
And,
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Come on, group handshake. Group handshake.
there we go. Okay, everybody.
www.
That's a wrap. Join us again on the music show. Bye, everybody.
Thank you again, folks.
Go marching in. Oh, when the Saints go marching in. How I want to be in that number. Oh, yeah. When the Saints go marching in. Oh, when the sun, refused to shine. Oh, when the sun refused to shine. How I want to be in that number. When the sun refused to shine. On the clarinet, we call him Sweet Pea. On the trumpet, Spanky Fisher. And on the saxophone, David Plain. Come on, David, big dog. And on the drum, Mark Sammo. On the bass, Dana Paul. Come on, Lightning. On the banjo, Ravon Richmond. My name's Casey Max. Together, we're the DixieKats.